It's your Coach Renz. We in the gym and we're gonna fight. Like Secure song, we're gonna fight tonight. We're gonna fight tonight. I hope the bobbing up and down doesn't bother you, but we got 30 minutes. Well, 28 minutes that we're gonna be on this cardio machine. But as promised on my Facebook page for Coach Renz, we're gonna talk about the Super Bowl, the Illuminati, and all of it being this ritual. You know, almost every Super Bowl, they're always coming out talking about, there's always these people, especially right-wing religious people, they're talking about how, oh, the Super Bowl halftime show is a Illuminati ritual, and that there's always a death beforehand. Those people are always saying that it's a Illuminati sacrifice. So we're gonna talk about those things today. We're gonna talk about the real. We're gonna talk about the fake. I'm gonna give people a few minutes to get on so we can get started. Let me know who you are when you come on. Talk to me, talk to me. And if you already think that it is some kind of ritual or something, let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me see if I can share this to my Facebook feed. I'm gonna share that to my Facebook. Let me share it. Get some Facebook sharing going. Just did a couple of sharing. What's up, Razul? How you doing? Get some people time to get on for a few minutes here. I'm in the gym. Y'all know, getting married in about 15 days. Got to get it tight, get it right. Wore my dragon shirt. It's debatable over our heads, regardless. Oh, some of it I will agree. Some of it is debatable. But some of it is just pure ridiculous. I'm gonna go ahead and put my statement out there. Is that a lot of it is reaching. It's crazy. So let's get started. Because I don't like taking a whole bunch of time waiting on people to get on. One of the first, okay, so of course, immediately after the halftime show. No, go back. Soon as Kobe's incident happened, accident, assassination, murder, whatever you want to call it, there were people already out. Illuminati, sacrifice. That's what they did. They sacrificed Kobe, sacrificed those other sports people. Anytime when Michael Jackson died, Prince died, same story. Most of the time when a celebrity dies, unexpectedly and soon, people just go ahead and boom. That's what it is. That's what it is. Well, first I'm gonna say, I don't agree with that at all. Accidents happen. Life happens. People, there's always a tragedy. Every year there's a tragedy. And every tragedy is not some secret dark organization that's doing it. And what's interesting, most of the people who talk about these organizations, they're not part of them, never been a part of them. All they're doing is regurgitating what other people have said, what they've said about them. So they're making up stuff constantly, all the time. I always find it interesting. You've never been a part of the Illuminati, but yet you know so much about it. You know who's in it, you know what they do, you know their rituals, you know all this, but yet, what are you doing to stop them? What are you doing to prevent it, since you know so much? I mean, isn't that the way to do things? If you can prevent something, if you know something about something, then you go and you prevent it. You actively prevent it. Just talking about it doesn't do anything for you. So, we're not even gonna go there. Now, let's talk about some of the Super Bowl halftime things that I've heard people talk about. The first one that I thought was ridiculous was that they said that the circle, the stage was a circle. And when you do research, people who are Wiccans, people claim to be witches, when casting a spell, yes, they form a circle with salt or chalk. It can't be broken, and they do this. So they said that the circular lit stage was them securing themselves, keeping themselves safe, because in spell casting, you do oftentimes, especially in the druid versions and The Wiccans, they say that one of the things they say is that they draw a circle to protect the caster of the spell. So some people are saying that the circle stage was the circle drawn to protect the casters of the spell, Shakira and J-Lo. Here's the thing, if you've ever been to a concert, then you know that if all the people are in front of you and on the side of you, you usually have a rectangular stage. But if you've been to a concert where the people are all around you 360 degrees and you're in the middle, the stage is always a circle. When Kevin Hart played in Europe, played in, I think, London, his stage was a circle because he was in the middle of 360 degrees of people. Now they do this sometimes because they want to fill the entire arena. But if you know you're not going to fill the entire arena, just the front, you have a rectangular stage. So the idea that they was casting and making a circle to cast their spell is a little bit ridiculous and off. Now, so that's one. If you look at the picture that I use as a thumbnail here, it has the stage. It has a cross on top of it. There are two things that people are saying about that one. The first thing that they're saying is that it was a show of inversion of feminine energy, meaning that it's it looks like the female, the symbol for female, for the female, and it's inverted upward. Usually the male symbol is the one that's upward, and the female, the cross on the female symbol is pointed down, which is actually the shape of the. So you got the line, the crossing, and the circle. The shape of the womb and the ovaries. The male is the circle pointing up, the balls and the penis. So they were saying it's the inversion of the female. Female coming into power. Female taking over, feminine energy. But a few days before Super Bowl halftime, J-Lo came out in an interview and expressly said that she was going to pay a homage to Kobe. And she also further said that the reason why that portion of it, if you watch the whole thing, it went gold and purple, and the cross was to pay that homage to Kobe. That the Lakers, the cross, symbol of Christianity, both of them were Christians, as far as I know. So she was paying homage to Kobe. Now some people may say, oh, that was what she said to deflect from the reality. I'm not going to try to determine a person's intent. When they said it, they're going to do something, and they did the purple and gold colors. So is it inversion of feminine energy? You can look at it that way. Symbolism. I pay attention to a lot of symbolism. What about the detailed numerology? Well, explain more. Because I did hear people say that the little girls, and I was going to go into this part next anyway, that the little girls who was in the cages, and they kept saying that, oh, it was a demonic number 13 in the cages. Well, actually, when you look at it, there were, in the bird cages, there were like 16 or 17 in the bird cages. So that number didn't pan out. And beforehand, after, J-Lo said that she would also, J-Lo and Shakira was saying that the girls in the bird cages represented the fact that when the families were being separated from coming into America from the southern border, how the kids were separated from the parents and put into cages. That's why J-Lo's daughter was in one of the cages singing and separated from her mom and then reunited on the stage. That she was saying that America has ignored Latinos, Puerto Rico, the efforts in Puerto Rico. That's why the Puerto Rican flag was at that same time. And that's what that was representing, was America's action towards the splitting of Latino family. I really didn't see any other numbers that were present. And some people were saying that the cages were the Luciferian Hollywood elite and how they involved, and because there were children in there, how they control people. that it was a symbol of control for them, and they was casting that control out to the people. But unfortunately, J-Lo and Shakira, being Latina, already had talked about the fact of what that was representing. That was representing America's actions towards Latin families being separated and their children being caged up. I think that was about, what, 7-8 months ago when that was going on. So that's what they were saying that was about. But of course, these ultra right-wing people who walk around living in fear all the time. It's always in fear, constant fear, and everything is somebody trying to get them. Some Luciferian situation where they're trying to control the masses. They don't need that to control the masses. They don't need the Superbowl to control the masses. They control the masses in controlling what information you get from the news, because they all are telling you the same stuff over and over again. They control the masses through dumbing you down with the food that you eat, poisoning your body, your health care. They control the masses with controlling the funding, your money, controlling public policy. Think they need a Super Bowl ritual to control you? Do I think that there are organizations that believe that they need to control the people? They are the ones that guide the people in the best way, and they need to maintain power? Sure. We call some of that government. We call some of that corporation. We do have Bilderberg groups and trilateral communion. The trilaterals, I forgot what the third word for them were. Do we have those kinds of organizations? Yes, we do. We got NATO, we got military, we got all those. And they control you with the narrative of the media. They control with money and food. Their policies dictate what you can and cannot do. So those things are in place. A Super Bowl, not so much. Super Bowl is more like a drug for you. It's more like a thing that distracts people to keep you from getting caught up into things. Now, let's get back into it. What's one of the other things that they're talking about here? They were talking about how J-Lo was on top of the stripper pole, which actually I thought was phenomenal, because a woman at her age still having the muscle and strength ability to get up there and hold herself up, whew, that takes a lot of strength. But they were saying that when she was up there and she had her arms stretched out on there and all the dancers were coming at her, they were supposed to be like worshiping her, and she was mocking Jesus, mocking Christ. Entertainers have always thrown their arms out to the side. When we play sports, you do something awesome. It is not crazy to throw your arms out to the side. She's up on a strip pole. People are coming at her. I can see how they were saying that. I can see the similarity. But the idea that she was mocking the Jesus character, I disagree with that. I think it was just theatrics. It was just theatrics. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, was the show provocative? Sure. A lot of booty shaking, all that kind of stuff. Provocative show. I can get down with that. But mocking Jesus, not as much. Imitating, maybe, I can go with that one. If they would say she was imitating, sure. But since they've already cast these people as being Luciferian, of course they can't see it as imitating. They see it as mocking. They even went as far as when Shakira was towards the end of her first set, and she had all the people coming up to her, and she was dressed in red, and she was saying, "Don't fight it." When she said, "Don't fight it," that was them saying that she was telling the people, "Don't fight," being under the spell of these, Luciferian Illuminati people. In truth, if you listen to the song of that person, of the people, there's like 3 videos said it. If you listen to it, what she's "Don't Fight It" is part of the song that she did for the World Cup. And they were talking about some "Don't Fight Tonight," ending racism, apartheid, separation. So she was just finishing that song. So they completely ignored the song that she was singing and only focused on one little part that fit their paradigm. What about Kobe's dealing with China, possibly starting a basketball league? Not talking about the awards win. Not talking about the awards win regarding numerology. I'm not sure about, still don't understand what you mean by the numerology. Yeah, Kobe was, look, Kobe was huge in China. Kobe's huge in a lot of countries. China, yeah, Europe, all over the world. I mean, he, approaching that Muhammad Ali level of popularity and love by the world. You know, he was right up there. You know, people still love Tiger all over the world. Ali, Magic, Jordan. Kobe was up there. World citizen. Him starting a league in China, I don't know much about that. I just know he had a lot of dealings in China because he's for somebody, you know, we put a lot of credit on college. Kobe never went to college. His business knowledge though. China and Africa are the next two great markets over the next 30 to 50 years. Anybody worth their salt is putting money in those areas, investing. So, I mean, that's why here from Atlanta, you see a lot of business people, entertainers are over in Africa investing. So Kobe investing in China, doing business in China, starting leagues in China. Africa just got a brand new basketball league. It's where the money is. It's where the money is. I think Kobe was just following the market, you know. Now, are there people who might have been jealous of that, mad about that? Sure. Is it some international issue? I don't think so. But to say that he was murdered for it, I don't know. I don't know if that's what you're saying at all. But that's all I know about that. I gotta admit, I don't know a ton about his business dealings in that regard, how deep it goes. I know about some of it. Not talking about the awards when regarding numerology. I understand. So what's some of the other things they were saying about it? They were talking about how the stage kept going in flames and it was wearing red, and the red was the demonic color. I think that's a real big reach. Real big reach. You know, you're talking about Latin, salsa, merengue. You're talking about spice, people who are known to spice it up in their culture. So to wear red, which is a color that, you know, builds passion inside people. Like we are, like if you look at restaurants, notice most of your fast food restaurants use red and yellow. Red and yellow are the primary colors. It ignites a passion for food inside you, red and yellow. Red is the passion, yellow is for food. Sometimes blue, but red, yellow, blue most of the time. So Latin people, red and flames, spice, passion. I don't think they were looking for devil. Yeah, McDonald's. Those colors work. And you know their food is nasty. Their food is disgusting. It's not even fit for you. You know, them fries, as good as it tastes, can't even be a real potato because they won't decay. They will not decay. So, can't be it. But they were going that far with that. Then when J-Lo came out, she had on the black. And then her dancers had on black and white. I saw about 5 videos where they were talking about she was representing to the unity of the combination of male and female, and that all the dancers seem kind of gay. Well, here's the thing. In dance, most dancers are a little bit feminine. Most of them. It's very attractive to that community, right? So, but most of them who dance that way or act that way aren't. And we don't even know. And that doesn't even matter. But they're saying that it was the inversion of masculine and feminine because they had black and white. In the same way I can say they were trying to represent the unity, that as black and white we shouldn't be fighting. That color doesn't matter, right? But the majority of them were talking about how the black and white represents the trestle board in the Masonic order. All right, I go ahead and tell you, I've been a Mason for a while. I know what the trestle board is. That wasn't a trestle board. Even if you try to line them up, they're not lined up in a way that looks like the trestle board. What they're taking is black and white and making it into something that they want. But that's not a trestle board. So, and if they knew anything about masonry, they would know that it's about making good men better. And of course, they always say, well, that's at the lower level. You don't know what's going on at the higher level. You ain't at the higher level. You don't know either. But I am. So I do. And I do for my level. Let me put it that way. Are there levels much higher than me? Sure. Do they force you to worship something? No. Are there people of many religions involved? Yes. So the idea that it's all geared towards one pagan Masonic god, no. They say that Jabalum is the representation of that, and it's not. Did you just say who was Mason? I am. Been one for a very long time. And many other things that I hear people say about it is not true. My family's been that. Almost every male in my family, for every generation that I know of, going back to the early 1900s. And I've, many people only understand England, think that that's where it's at. Goes all the way to Egypt, back to the builders of the pyramids. If you really knew about it, the builders of the pyramids is where it starts. It is not the builders of the buildings in, yeah, I gotta get the work out. It's not the builders of the buildings in England and Europe. This is just a people England realized, recaptured it, reinvigorated it, made it and westernized it. But truly, starts in Egypt. Starts in Egypt. And many of the things I hear people saying about rituals and things like that, it's completely untrue, completely misunderstood. If you're not in there, you don't know it. If you're not getting you can read, the books aren't even secret. Most of the books aren't secret at all. You can go get a book. You can read all about the rituals up to the Royal Arch. And think about it, you can understand some of it, take it at face value. Like you saw my video yesterday, you'll have rock level knowledge of it. But understanding the deeper mysteries, you won't unless you're present. So when people are talking about it and they've never been present, they don't know what they're talking about. In all the years, no one in my family has ever been forced to worship any kind of crazy god, perform any crazy sexual rites. And I have members of my family, even right now to this day, who are well beyond the 33rd degree. What's interesting, most of them only think it goes 33 degrees. It goes well beyond that. And I have family members who are well beyond that. And trust me. Well, don't trust me. If you want to know something, go find out for yourself. But all these outside people who just continue to spread rumors based on what? Some things that they've heard other people say. That's all they're talking about, what other people have said. But none of these people have direct knowledge. You know. And that's the thing that kills me. Is that people like to talk about something like this, something like Superbowl, something like Illuminati, something like all these organizations. They have no direct knowledge of it. Oh, this whistleblower this, whistleblower that. I've seen all the whistleblower, not all, I've seen a lot of the whistleblower videos. But the whistleblowers never proved that they were part of the organization. I don't see it at all. Now, if you were a member of the organization, sure. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there people in every organization that do horrible things, power move things, that take something that does have some good about it and mess it up? Sure. We see that in government. We see that at your job. You see that in your community. So if you're going to vilify one, then vilify all of them. If you're going to say that about this organization, say it about the one you belong to. Because you're going to have good and bad people in everything. But yeah. But I got to get the workout in. I thought it'd be interesting to do a live while I'm here, especially since the music isn't playing. So that won't be too much of a distraction. Got about 4 minutes on this one. Let's see, what else were they talking about for this Super Bowl? And right, oh, they was reaching. One guy was saying that they had these spire pillars around the stage. There were 6 of them, 6 pillars lit up, but he only singled out a picture that showed 2, and he was saying that, oh, see, it's the Masonic symbol and the towers of, and 2 towers, the 2 pillars. There were 6 pillars, 6, not 2. This is how people construe something to make it fit their paradigm, fit their narrative. There were 6 pillars the whole time lit up. Then he was talking about how Shakira had the rope head. All right, even if it was a serpent, the symbolism of serpent in ancient cultures and most cultures represents wisdom. It is the symbol of the eagle that represents control. See, most people don't really understand it. When you look at most of the warring countries throughout time and civilization, the warring countries are usually represented by a bird, most of the time an eagle. More peaceful countries are represented by serpents, wisdom. There's a misunderstanding because once Rome took over, the Nicene Christians took over, they reconstrued the story. Because if you go back to the story of the Sumerians and look at Enlil and Enki, Enlil, yep, to each their own. Enlil represented the eagle, while Enki represented the serpent. So, Enlil didn't want man to be able to reproduce. Enki did. Enlil wanted man to stay stupid. Enki wanted man to have knowledge. You look at countries that are confused and always in turmoil. For instance, Mexico. They are represented by the eagle and a serpent. It's a confused country. So it's always, you can go through history and you'll see this battle between the eagle and the serpent. And according to the Sumerian Enuma Elish, you're talking about the battle between Enlil and Enki and all their children thereafter. Marduk, so on and so forth. So even if she was using a serpent, she's talking about wisdom. The pyramid, strongest structure. The triangle is the strongest structure in the universe. The pyramid is the 3D formation of that. We today still can't figure out how they built the pyramids. Can't do it. A few people who said they figured it out always seem to die real quickly or for some strange reason. But the pyramid is a symbol of strength and a symbol of understanding the cosmos. This is why the Great Pyramids follow Orion's belt, which was actually Osiris' belt, the constellation of Osiris. With Joe, you know I love you, Joe. You my guy. You my guy. Jay-Z doesn't help his case by flashing obscene hand signals. He doesn't. And that's to each his own. You know, different people. I've always said this. When I was a personal trainer, I used to say it. Even in today's world, I say it. And it's always the same. 25% of who you are, how you are, is natural. It's your birthright. It's the genes you bring over from your parents. It's your Akashic record. 75% is your environment. It's your environment. When I'm in the gym like this and I see people who are unhealthy and they're in here month after month and they still look the same, yeah, the 1 hour they're in here, they're in a healthy environment. But their homes are usually unhealthy, their friends are unhealthy, everything else is toxic. 75% of who you are is your environment. I don't know who Jay-Z is around. I don't know who he hangs out with. I don't know the conversations he has. He may be in a toxic situation. He may not. Business-wise, he's in a prosperous situation. Personally, I have no idea. I can't do it on here. But on my Facebook page and on this YouTube, I'm gonna post a diagram that shows what a lot of hand signals mean that people misunderstand. But hand signals have been used throughout time. As a Marine, We use hand signals so that we can move silently and be able to communicate, especially in combat situations. I've been in way too many of them, and those things come in handy. We have hand signals in every organization. You know, when I played football, coaches had hand signals on the sidelines to call plays. So some of the ones he does, it's funny. He'll do a hand signal, and people say, "Oh, that's the hand signal of the Baphomet." And as a matter of fact, during the Superbowl, they said that, I think it was Shakira, no, J-Lo and Shakira, and then the girls who were dancing for J-Lo, they did the hand signal for the Baphomet. What I find interesting about that, Baphomet came around, a French dude in the 1800s first designed the Baphomet. But you can find images painted of Jesus' character, Dionysus, Horus, Atticus. You can find all these sun-related deities all doing the same hand signals, which was long before the Baphomet. All right, you find them all before that. So are the hand signals the Baphomet, or the hand signals the same as the one that Jesus was doing, that Horus was doing, or Hebrew? It's the same ones. What's the meaning? And here's the thing about time and culture and civilization. And this goes against what I just said. The swastika to the Buddhist and the Hindu is a symbol of unity and peace. But since World War II, the swastika has been a symbol of Nazis, of control, of genocide. So what those symbols mean to him, I don't know. What they mean in history, and you know, guys, if you listen to me for a while, I go back to the root of things as far back as we possibly can. So people say that's devil horns, but originally symbol of the goat. But just because the goat head is on the Baphomet doesn't mean the symbol of the goat is a negative thing. In some way, it depends on the culture. In many cultures, the goat represents a free thinker. In the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Akkadians, Chaldeans, it represents somebody who's a free thinker. Because sheep will keep their head down, and sheep will go wherever the shepherd tells them to go. And sheep will allow themselves to be slaughtered. A sheep won't even recognize the terrain that they're in, whereas a goat keeps his head up. A goat is more willing to go where it wants to go, find its own resources, does what it needs to do. So, anciently, the goat was a leader. The goat was independent. The goat thought for himself. Now, in today's world, and if you saw a post that I put a while back, many slaughterhouses use what's called a slaughterhouse goat. And this is what I say many religious leaders are. They're slaughterhouse goats. They don't really understand the full understanding of what a slaughterhouse is. But they lead the sheep straight to the slaughterhouse, allow them to go in, and then go back and get some more. Many people who are teaching people about the creation, universe, God, spirituality, whatever, they're just slaughterhouse goats, repeating doctrine after doctrine after doctrine. Because scholarship of scholarship is not scholarship. Most of the people that they tout out, when someone wants to debate me and say, well, Tacitus this and Younger that, you're reading scholarship about people who are only repeating something that they were told. They haven't done any scholarship of their own. And that's all that is. So that would be the same way if me, at 48 years old, never met Dr. King, but I'm going to tell you about his life and the type of man he was. I don't know the man. I can only go by what other people have said. And how true is that? Because here's the thing. They're telling you about a person that not one eyewitness ever wrote about. That's the most interesting part. Not one eyewitness. You had 127 different scholars in that area at that time. Nobody wrote about it. And that's a common thing in history. People like to write after. Except for when you look at the walls in Egypt. Most of them were written at the time frame. The Enuma Elish were written at the time frame. Now some of the stuff wasn't. Some of it was a bunch of BS too. But we just follow suit with it. That was 30 minutes on that thing. 35 minutes. Need some water. But we just follow, most people just follow whatever they're told. So the hand signals, they could be because of what they mean today, or what people, how people refer to them today. But you saw my video the other day when I said that you gotta have some of that and kind of money. Jay-Z got that and kind of money. He can do what he want to do, say how he want to say, and the fact of the matter is, people still gonna buy his music. His businesses are still gonna thrive. He can be truly himself, and if that is being himself, then it is what it is. If he has negative things he wants to accomplish in the world, then he can accomplish those. He can do those things financially. Do we have to fall for them? That's the question. You don't have to fall for any of it. You can be however you want to be in life. You can determine how your life is going to be. We spend way too much time, in my opinion, worrying about what other people are thinking and how they, and yeah, they may be influencers. Not it may be, they are influencers. They are influencers. But that doesn't mean we have to let them influence us, which is what a lot of people do. We let those people influence us as to how we should live, how we should be in our life. We actually are self-determined. I didn't want to say this upstairs, but this one guy who was like next to me, he was breaking his neck to hear everything I was saying. I thought it was funny. But yeah, we in a world where we got to do more research, and we can't just go with whatever somebody is saying, just because they're saying it. We got to decide for ourselves and what things mean for us, not what things meant for other people. And I definitely say, if you're not part of the organization, you haven't experienced it, then experience it before you start being negative towards it. Because I told you guys before on other videos, if I got an invitation to join the Illuminati, I would join it in a heartbeat because I want to know what's really going on. You think I wouldn't join the Trilateral? You think I wouldn't join the Trilateral? That I wouldn't join the Bilderbergs, the Bohemian Grove? I would join every last one of them. Not because I believe in their agenda. It's because I would want to know what's real and what's not real. What's the truth and what's not the truth. What are they really talking about? What are they really doing? Does that mean I'll get sucked in? I've been members of churches and I didn't get sucked into the church. I've been members of everything, different organizations. I was a Marine. I didn't get sucked into everything in the Marine Corps. So just because somebody joins something doesn't mean they're getting sucked in. You know, there have been, look, I have been in Masonic meetings where actually they were pushing Christianity and they were doing things that were I thought were wrong, and outside of the actual teachings that were supposed to go on. And I spoke up about it. Now, in some people, depending upon the organization, they could have kicked me to the curb. I wouldn't care. The fact of the matter is, I'm not going to do anything that goes against my best interest, right? I don't care what the organization is. It doesn't matter. Just like I told you guys, here in America, 7 more years and I'm out of this country. 7 more years, I'm gone. Because being here is not in my best interest, especially as a black man. It's not in my best interest. And it's not because of the Illuminati or government or conspiracy. It's simply how we're treated in this country. And why would I stay here to continue to be treated that way when I can go somewhere else and be treated differently? Be treated as a man, And that's how it should be. That's how we should look at it. Being treated as humans. Being free to think how I want to think. Live how I want to live. Y'all need to get some of this with me. Y'all need to come get some of this. Woo. Got that wedding in 15 days. Got to get it tight. Got to get it tight for that wedding. All right, what's it? Yeah, but most people flash signs, man, and they don't even know what they flashing, Joe. You know, they flashing sign. I see people doing things, flashing stuff, and I'm like, what are they doing? Matter of fact, when the little girls were dancing with J-Lo up there on the stage, and they had their fingers out like it was, the fingers was out like this. They were saying they was flashing the devil horn sign. But okay, so my my about to be new daughter, but she's been Donna. Her daughter's been in my life for 6-7 years now, and she is huge into dance, big into dance. I mean, that's all she wants to do for her life, and we're actually going to help her open the dance studio. That's just part of dancing. Like different hand movements are different because it creates lines in dancing, like a certain line that you're creating with the hand to the body, you know, things. I can't do it. There ain't enough room in this camera. But that's just about the artistic, not the artistic. I mean, it could be artistic, but it's not the word I'm looking for. But it's just the way it looks in dance. But because, you know, the girl's arms were up and it was out and they had their head tucked in, they were doing a certain dance move, the knees and the legs were bent a certain way. It's the way it makes the dance look. But they take it and they do it, and this is all the time. People say, oh, I see, it's always been there. But that's just lines in dancing. But people want to take everything way too far. One more. I wonder who in Atlanta want to come get some of this. Some of this working out. So, yeah, what else we got? But yeah, guys, I mean, I was gonna make this whole big long video about this stuff, but then I realized that I didn't want it wasn't really worth it, because it's a lot of foolishness that these people are talking about and doing. And you gotta wipe this stuff off. I don't want to get the corona. I wonder how the corona beer is handling. I bet you somebody's probably saying that, I bet you there's a video that somebody's saying they named the coronavirus as a conspiracy against the beer, the corona beer, especially with Cinco de Mayo coming. And this year Cinco de Mayo is on a Tuesday, so Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo. I guarantee somebody's saying that. And we gotta stop that. Stop getting into all these conspiracies. Because when we let conspiracies rule us, then what we're really doing is letting fear rule us. We're letting our lower chakra, we're preventing that, we're allowing the lower chakra to be clogged up. We're allowing our energy to be clogged up so that we don't have the right energetic flow, the right frequency in our bodies and in our mind. Because we're walking around just living in this fear state, right? Because we think that there's always some overlording situation that's out to get us, that's trying to claim us. And on one of the people who was doing these videos, I asked him, I said, look, you evidently believe that these people have powers and magic powers. So if you believe that, why don't you invoke your magic powers to be able to like stop them or prevent them? I mean, if your magic, you know, your magic genie that you claim to believe in has power over everything, then why aren't you using your magic genie powers to stop them from utilizing theirs? Because evidently theirs is working, you know. And of course they were like, well, you know, this world has been given over to the devil and all his minions and demons. And I was like, that's actually not in your book. That's not really in your book. That's supposed to be after everything is said and done. But not for right now. That's not in your book. This is supposed to be like a prison, you know, for those entities. And it amazed me, we started the dialogue, and I'm always amazed at how much people claim they know about their book, but really don't, you know? Because he started talking about war in heaven, and I was like, where is that at? And he's like, oh, the war in heaven is in Genesis. I was like, no, actually it's not. It's not. It's referred to in the New Testament a lot by Paul and Peter, but it's not actually in there. It was in the book of Enoch, is where it was talking about it. And Enoch actually got it from the Enuma Elish and the Sumerians. But it's not actually in there. And I told him that the word Lucifer is mentioned 2 times. Right? Once referring to a Babylonian king, and the other time referring to the Jesus character coming back. So I was like, you up here making these claims based on your religion, but you don't even know your religion. And that's most people, regardless of what their religion is. It's like, why believe in something you've never really studied, or you don't even know it? You haven't even read it. You're just repeating doctrine that you've heard from a pulpit over and over again, or listening to a bunch of conspiracy videos. You know? I used to laugh all the time because what's the guy? Joel Osteen, when he first started, I swear that man never read that book before. He read a couple of quotes, and that was it. Because the doctrine he was teaching, it's not even in that book. You know, it's not part of it. It's well, it actually goes against it. And then some of the quotes I heard him say back then, it was like 10 years ago, they come from the Tao. He ain't come from, and which I found interesting. You up there in a Christian church quoting stuff from the Tao. Just like I hear people quoting stuff from the Tao all the time. When people say stuff like, the journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first step. And actually that quote says, begin with the first step. The journey of building a wall begins with laying the first stone. I hear people quoting that all the time, like, that's actually a Taoist teaching. Right? But you're supposed to be relegated to your own book. Which just shows that people are easily swayed, and people will quote whatever sounds good to them, not even knowing where it's from. So when this guy was talking about how all of these things are these symbols of that and symbols of this, when we dug into it, you don't even know your own book to discuss it, to talk about it. And for anybody who's listening to this, before you say something, know your book. Especially if you're gonna say it to me. Definitely know your book. Don't. You gotta be mindful of who you come at. Other sheep, you got them. You got them all day. They listen to the popular quotes and they go from there. But somebody who reads everything, studies everything, and not everything, a lot, but looks between the lines, you better know your stuff before you open your mouth. But any other questions? Anybody notice? Anybody see anything else? Notice anything else about it? I'm gonna give a few minutes to see if anybody noticed anything concerning it. Those were the main things. Some people put out some obscure symbolism here and there, which was really just reaching, more reaching. One person was talking about how J-Lo was on top of the Empire State Building, and since the Twin Towers was gone, she was saying that the Empire State Building is the next target, for the Illuminati. I was like, it's an iconic building in New York. She's Jenny from the block, from New York, Latin girl. She's representing New York, just the same way later on she represented Puerto Rico. So I'm like, oh my gosh, just reaching. My thing is, we don't need to reach. Go back to the trivia. Knowledge, facts. So knowledge, facts, same thing. Logic, understanding, same thing. So which is where you take them facts and you compound them together to see what kind of understanding you come up with. Then put it into practice. Putting it into practice is part of wisdom. The true wisdom, though, is putting it into a practice, testing it, seeing if it's repeatable, and if it is, then it's wisdom. If it's not, if it has to be changed, then you're still searching for the wisdom of the facts and the understanding. So these people aren't going through that process. So I implore you to go through that process with all your material, with all your thinking, with everything you do. Like even something as simple as coming to the gym. I see people, when I owned my gym and I was personal training, so many people came with fad diet this and fad diet that, right? And they test it, and yeah, they lose the weight real quick, but as soon as they get off of it, they gain it all back plus 10 more. So it's like, why do you go for the next fad? when it's very basic. Healthy diet, which is calories in minus calories out equals your weight. Exercise, weight training tears the muscle, allows your body to be able to build more muscle. Muscle burns more calories than fat calories, so you're naturally going to lose more weight by just building muscle. So you need to spend more time lifting weights than doing cardio all the time. And then proper rest. You need at least 3 hours of REM sleep every night, and you need to get 6 hours of sleep, period. But REM sleep occurs when you have a very good, comfortable mattress with your legs slightly raised. You need 3 hours of REM sleep every night so that your body can recuperate. That's a basic formula. It's been tested. It's you can repeat it. It's repeatable. And it's been done over and over again to levels of success. That's it. Is that simple. And all these things that these people are talking about is that simple. You can try to cast a spell. If they're trying to cast a spell during the halftime show, all right, and they do it every year, what are they gaining? Getting you back to watching the Super Bowl again? You're going to watch it anyway because it's a national pastime. It's a way of escapism for you. Everybody escapes into it. People who don't even look at football will escape into the Super Bowl halftime show because it's a ritual. It's a thing that we do. It's a family event. It's a party time frame. Just like people go and they do Cinco de Mayo, right? I know folks who do Cinco de Mayo, they ain't Spanish, they ain't Mexican, and they think and most of them think it's Mexican Independence Day, and it's not. It's about a battle. Cinco de Mayo is about a battle that occurred on a plateau in Mexico, and Corona, when they were introducing the beer Corona to America, they made Cinco de Mayo the holiday that it became. It was marketing. Cinco de Mayo was created because of marketing and nothing else. But yet people just do it. It's a ritual that they follow. So, all I'm saying, guys, let's think long, think strong, use our rhetoric, use the trivia before we go half crazy on some ideas that somebody wrote. I don't know if this one's gonna work. Let's do it that way instead. Let's see if anybody got any more questions before I sign off. I gotta get it in. Working the back today. Alright guys, we're gonna call it a day. I'll be shooting another video later on today, downloading it this afternoon, so look forward to that one. That one's gonna be more of a motivational style video. If you notice, I'm more into how we can make our life better, so than arguing over this foolishness. But I promised that I would say something about this earlier today, so I just want to make good on my promises, because a man is only worth his promise. You're only worth your word. You got to be able to complete it. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.